14th ranked Gators move to the top of the SEC rankings, follow their 19-point win over Texas A&M Aggies on Saturday night, their third straight conference victory. It's 76 degrees at 2 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Tom McManus. This is
Helmets and Heels.
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
We have very important sports things to discuss, but we're going to start with the spinach balls.
Delicious.
Really good.
Delicious.
I'm so glad y'all enjoyed them.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised I enjoyed them because, like I said yesterday, I love spinach. Everything in that. I like spinach. I like Parmesan cheese. I like garlic. I like salt. I like stuffing.
When I was a kid, I believe spinach gave you muscles from Popeye.
I did too.
I mean, seriously, like
it
you
doesn't?
eat spinach. I
Well,
still eat. So I
I
love
don't know
spinach.
because I eat a lot of spinach and there's not much muscle.
We got to
over it.
work them. Just don't grow on
Well,
their
that's
own.
not what they
You
say.
got to do something with them.
That's not what they say.
That's not what they say.
If I just
Right.
eat spinach and saves
But
olive
he
oil,
pops
that's
up.
what actually
He pops open the can with his bare hands. That's it. His forearms are so big.
That's true. I agree that spinach does give you muscles
I
if you
love
work
spinach.
them, though.
My mom, that was one of my mom would come home when I was younger, probably like late middle school or late elementary, early middle school. And I would just like eat canned spinach as my like afternoon
yeah,
snack. That's how
yeah.
much I like spinach. And my mom used to be like, "You're so weird." I was like, look, at least I'm healthy.
I like peas out of the can.
I love
me
peas
too.
out,
Right
of
out
a
of
can.
the can,
I don't think
yeah.
I've had spinach out of a can.
It's
but
great.
I
It's
usually
hard
just
to
do
find.
frozen
Yeah.
spinach and then microwave it.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I love peas.
Get your
Me
leaf
too.
in.
But I had to switch from peas out of or canned vegetables in general. I learned in college. Little too much sodium unless you do the low sodium.
Yeah.
But then they're not as good.
yeah,
Right.
you're like, you need the sodium.
Right,
Give and
exactly.
take.
All right, Taylor, you sent us a text last night that basically summed up bye-bye Bediaco.
Yes.
Charles
Oh.
Bediaco
What in the
was
world?
granted that temporary restraining order by a booster judge in Alabama. And then now an Alabama judge has said, you know what? That's not
is weird.
allowed.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he's not going to be able to play anymore. I feel like this is what the first judge should have done. But Nate Oates and Bediaco got away with it a little bit. It helped them win a couple games.
I think you should take those away. Like, I really think you should take those wins away because now you're saying, never mind, this isn't allowed. So you're doing
Right.
something that is not approved and very quickly kind of decided. It's not like it was if they did this in the beginning of the season and you played a whole season and then late, you were like, what, whatever.
Sure.
It was kind of a quick turnaround of, okay, we're going to let this happen and then never mind. So I think you take those wins away because, I mean, you're breaking rules at that point.
I mean,
Yeah.
Todd Golden and us Florida Gators say, well, you could just beat them anyways.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's what we did.
I mean, I hope it sets a precedent. Like,
Yeah.
that's foolish. It's so dumb. And may I say, and maybe this is wrong, but and it had nothing to do with. I know Lindsey Vaughn's 41, but I saw a snowboarder who was 40, win the silver or something. I was like, isn't this for kids? Like, the Olympics used to be for young people.
Tricks are for kids.
You know what I mean? It
Well, it used to be
the
for
amateurs,
amateurs.
Yeah.
right? And I know that changed, and I know
Yeah.
we just talked about the U.S. hockey in '80. They went against a bunch of professionals. I know
Yep.
that's been. It just seems weird. I don't know. I always think of
I
like
know what you mean.
Olympians, like in their 20s, maybe.
I don't care as much about age as I do feel like the Olympics meant a little bit more to people when it was amateurs
Amateurs,
only, and you couldn't have received any money to be a
I
professional.
will say we watch it nonstop. It's been
The
on our
Olympics?
yeah, I mean any of it. Now the curling, jeez, I can't really watch the curling.
Have you
I
ever
can,
tried
but
curling?
No,
It's
no.
hard.
Oh, I bet. I don't know. The person yelling behind, the
Yeah.
guy sweeping the
Yeah.
thing, and doing all this crazy stuff. I
That
don't know
also
about that,
curling requires a little bit but patience,
right?
Yeah.
and I don't know that that's.
No.
That's not my
No,
forte.
definitely not.
And I get that. I did try
Let's say it's a
curling
virtue.
once years and years ago. I think it was 2014,
like
and
the heels did it, right?
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
Borges doing it.
yeah, it was fun, but it was really hard. But
Yeah.
honestly, let's talk about an Olympic sport that's not really
yeah.
hard.
If there's one I feel like I could possibly do,
It
it'd
would
be
be
that
curling.
one, at least of the winter sports,
Yeah,
because I
what's
watched the other ones.
I know the pace of it's the hard part, but is the thing really heavy? Like,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it is. So you have to carry it. You have to push it.
I didn't
push.
yet push it. Yeah.
Okay, and then someone's sweeping. To
Yeah,
what?
obviously
Smooth
your
it out
your
and make it
accuracy
go
because you want
where
it to
it
land in
can
a certain.
go.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like
And-
shuffleboard,
Yeah,
I was
kinda
about
like
to say it's very
shuffleboard, yeah.
shuffleboard.
but it's on the ice.
Because same thing of like how your game plan of if you're going to try and knock someone off or if you feel
Yeah.
like you can get that center. I don't know what all the points are like that, but in shuffleboard, some of that is the strategy. Sometimes it's where it's better to just knock the other person's off.
Off,
Sometimes
right.
it's better to try and aim for
Right.
that three.
like cornhole.
yeah,
Like, I
yeah,
can
it's
relate
really
to.
similar. Yeah. And I love
In a
shuffleboard.
blizzard.
I love shuffleboard, so I feel like I would enjoy that, honestly, curling, but I don't know how good I would be on ice.
I tell you what, the downhill skiing,
Insane.
90 miles an hour, a couple of them. I'm like, that sound. I go 90 on JTB. I know what that feels like. You know, sometimes I roll down the window just to kind of look outside and see what it looks like. But holy,
Did you see that drone version of it?
Yes.
Where it's like from the that looks terrifying. Like that is not something I want to
How
do.
they can do
Yeah,
that.
I wouldn't be able to. Since you mentioned Lindsey Vonn, we got the update from her yesterday. It's going to require multiple surgeries for her
that
to,
break.
to fix
You
that
kind of
break.
saw that the right leg got stuck, and then she just kind of.
And she said it
that
had
way.
nothing to do with the ACL that was torn.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with that. It was just
the arm got stuck
Correct.
in the gate, right?
Yeah.
And then it knocked her. You're going that fast. How do you even recover? Did you see the one guy they were actually making fun of? They're like, is this guy a real Olympian? He like almost fell over.
I saw
One
it.
leg went way up in the air, and he's trying to get down the hill.
He had no balance the entire time. Everyone was like, "Did he just qualify today?" Like last minute.
Yeah, but that stuff's fun to watch. The skating's
it's all fun to watch.
Yeah.
To
They
me,
have like the rifle thing now. With
Oh, yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, that one's kind of
The
intense
women
too.
do it was like a biathlon. Like they
Yeah.
had to do the cross country, and then you got to be like the one that won it. Holy cow, she didn't miss one time on the shooting part. You know, they got to lie down and stand up, and I don't know how far away that thing is. I couldn't tell how far
Yeah,
away
I
the
couldn't
target
tell
is.
either.
But that is, we've been into the Olympics, you know, and there's more to come. I'm assuming. I don't know how many more days we got. But
it just started
Yeah.
last weekend.
yeah, right. It just started Friday, right? What am I thinking?
have like
It feels
3
like
weeks.
so
It's like, how
long
much
ago.
longer do we have?
Yeah, right.
We
But
have a
the,
lot more of
Yeah,
Olympics.
actually, before I left, because Christina was watching it, the kid, the skater, figure skater, the guy whose parents were killed in a plane crash last year. Did you know this story? And he performed. He was really good. He was really emotional. Obviously, it was pretty cool though. We just watched that. I was literally walking out the door when it was on. She was telling me the story. I was like, wow, I forgot about the story.
I think for a lot of people it is tricky because a lot of these events live are during the workday.
Yeah.
It doesn't sync up because it's in Italy.
Right.
It doesn't sync up with our like East Coast times of everything. And
Right.
so if you're not able to watch during the
did
day,
I just give something away?
probably,
Sorry.
but that's quite all right.
Yeah.
You didn't
It's
say
okay.
how he did. You just
Yeah,
said
right.
he performed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't
I don't
think
even know how I
people. I don't think people are listening to Helmets and Heels like, oh my gosh, they just
This is I need my
spoiled.
updates.
Yeah, the Olympics.
My Olympic
I wonder if
updates.
they're going to talk about figure skating today.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to figure out with friends at the Super Bowl party on Sunday, like when I'm watching the free skate that was happening on Sunday, like, is this the first time they do it? Is this the only time they do
No,
it?
right.
And it's the only time. And I was like, I don't
Yeah.
understand. That doesn't seem fair. You've got the people in snowboarding that get multiple runs at
Yeah.
something. Why don't they
Right.
get multiple free skates? Although if you ask the athletes themselves, that thing is like 5 minutes long and so intense. They may not want to have to
they're
do
like,
that more
That's
than
enough.
once.
One time is
No
enough.
doubt.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
be in sick condition.
Ridiculous.
All of it, too. Even the downhill, I was thinking, like, all those G's going that fast. I wonder what you got to do to your body, like, after.
Yeah.
Like, go into a chamber.
Well, and
Right.
I
you
think
know what I
about
mean? Like, decompress or something.
Yeah.
You put your body
yeah, the
through
downhill, the
crazy.
way their knees, I feel like their knees about hit their forehead sometimes, the
Yeah.
way they're moving. And then the jumps, too.
Yeah,
when,
the
like,
big air.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the ones look also terrifying. Their
Yeah.
little skis go out to the side.
Yeah, the snowboarders doing all those jumps and spins. That's I do like watching that.
Oh,
stuff.
it's
That's fun to watch.
Wild.
it's fun, but it's also for someone like me. I sometimes can be like fatalistic in a sense, and I am always afraid that I'm about to watch the one person who's going to
yeah.
crash and get seriously injured, and
Yeah.
so I'm always kind of holding my breath, even though I don't know these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Do you feel that way when you're watching football?
I do
You
at
do, you
times.
find- catch
Yeah,
yourself, like,
especially
yeah.
when I'm in the press box, and so there's less. Like if I'm at home watching, it's a little bit easier because there's
Yeah.
other stuff to do. You know, the
Right.
dog, whatever, eat something. But in the press box, it's so quiet, and
Yeah.
so it feels even more intense.
Yeah. Well,
But
back
yeah.
to whatever his name is, Diamenco. I'm glad they sent his ass
Diamenco.
back.
Bediaco.
Betty
Yeah.
Ocko. Yeah, that guy. Betty.
Charles
Bediaco.
Bediaco. So
Yeah.
yeah, the
Get him
judge
outta here.
did reverse that. And to your point, I'm hoping that is a precedent that's
Yeah,
set
come on.
for future athletes. That if you enter the NBA draft or the NFL draft, whatever it ends up being, and then for years you are not a college basketball player because you're playing at a professional level, you're not allowed to play,
So what happens
regardless of
now?
what judges have.
Does
to
he
say.
go back to G League?
I would assume if he's good enough. Like I said, when I watched him in person, he's had better games than the game he had against Florida, but I wasn't that impressed.
Yeah.
Then again, I don't watch any G League, so I can't tell you what he looks like in comparison
He
to
could
other
go
G League
overseas
athletes.
too, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Right? Play for I don't know one of those leagues over
Sure.
there.
Go back to high school.
Funny his high school team will take him. You got any junior college out there?
I'm sure a
Hey,
judge will sign off on that.
up?
All right, we'll get into some Jaguars football, so keep it right here. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon, 10 to XL, 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels.
Backed by Green Law Group on 1010XL. Wonder what Rick Ballou would be doing if he wasn't on 1010XL?
The ultimate gentleman spy. Irresistible to women, deadly to his enemies.
Rick Ballou.
A legend in his own time.
Evenings on 1010XL.
When you drive past a Kuhn Flowers location, did you know their inside showroom is filled with gift items? Kuhn Flowers isn't just for sending flowers. Frank Frangie here. And when I need a unique gift, I head for Kuhn Flowers, Beach Boulevard, and in Ponte Vedra since 1947. Kuhn Flowers.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Litigated by Morgan & Morgan.
Winter is in full swing, and Aleve is here to keep you moving. When the cold weather sets in, everyday aches and pains can linger, but Aleve's got your back. With up to 12 hours of body pain relief per dose, Aleve keeps you going with long-lasting body pain relief to get you through whatever the season brings. Chilly days or cozy nights, Aleve gives you that long-lasting body pain relief you can count on this winter. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. Thank you for trusting us for 55 years of custom welding fabrication and vehicle towing accessories. When you need a trailer hitch for the family car, a gooseneck for the company truck, or even RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We can do a bumper hitch, fifth wheel hitch, anything for safe, reliable towing. Come to Cannons of Jacks, where service is our #1 priority and we treat our customers as we like to be treated. Check us out online, cannonsofjacks.com.
XL Prime Time is back where they belong.
Wait a minute, I know where that is.
Lunch is on Josie, Matt Hayes, and Leon.
You could lay a little barbecue on us.
From the big #1 Duval Ford Studios.
But somebody else is going to have to cook it.
Noon to 2 weekdays on 1010XL.
Finding the right plumber to reline your cast iron pipes doesn't have to be a stressful experience. When you hire Superior Plumbing and Pipelining, you can rest assured you're getting the best in the industry. At Superior Plumbing and Pipelining, we're so confident in our work that we encourage you to get multiple estimates. Look at each company's reviews and check the scope of their pipelining work to make sure it's what you're expecting. But at the end of the day, make the superior choice. Superior Plumbing and Pipelining. Request a free estimate at superiorplumbingjacks.com.
Leading the JU Dolphins to an NCAA Division I championship in 1970, Artis Gilmore still holds the highest career rebounding average in Division I history. Gilmore played in the ABA and in the NBA and was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in 2011. Gilmore also serves as a special assistant to the president for Jacksonville University. I'm E.T., and this Black History Month profile on 1010XL is brought to you by Instant Keys. Fast, professional, honest locksmith service.
Covering the First Coast and ready to help when you need it. That's Rebound Rehabilitation. With a dozen locations, they're easy to get to and they'll get you back in the game. Sports injury, workers' comp case, or auto accidents, you name it, they can help. Check out reboundrehab.com.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Yo, it's your main man E.T. here for Blue Chew. And guess what? Blue Chew tablet isn't just a tablet. It's a cheat code. Blue Chews provide access to chewable tablets that help you feel and perform at your best. Stronger, longer. It's like someone gave you downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership. No awkward doctor visits and no uncomfortable waiting rooms. It's nothing worse when them nosy behind neighbors are looking at your packages and then asking you questions. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. I got this. Blue Chew is simple. It's discreet and delivered straight to your door. And let's be honest, this isn't just for you. Give her group chat something to talk about. Nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. And guess what? I got a special deal for our listeners. Get your first month of Blue Chew on me. That's right. Just use promo code 1010XL and you pay $5 shipping. That's it. Head over to BlueChew.com for details and safety info. Use code 1010XL, then just chew it and do it.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Taylor Dalton, McManus, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Going to talk some Jaguars football. We want to compare the Jaguars defense to the Seahawks. Why the Seahawks? Oh, I don't know. Just because they were the Super Bowl champion, and everyone knows the dark side was probably a huge reason as to why the Seahawks made it as far as they did and won the Super Bowl. It's not like they had the best quarterback in the NFL and won the Super Bowl, which obviously most years, I would say, usually you have the best quarterback wins, whether it was Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes. But certainly when it comes to this year, I think Sam Darnold was good. I wouldn't put him as in the top 5 of quarterbacks in the NFL.
No, I wouldn't either.
He was better than Drake. So if you're talking
Definitely,
about that matchup,
yes.
he was the better quarterback in that
How about
matchup.
those two guys having to go to Disneyland all day the next day? What? They were riding a teacup.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's like, what? And it was funny. Kenneth Walker, I saw, watched the interview, and he's like, yeah, I don't like being spun around, and neither does Sam. So we didn't twist the inner thing. I'm like, I can't believe they had you guys go. The day after the Super Bowl? I don't know. It just seemed kind of weird. Like, go in there for an interview. I get that.
They better not have made him pay since he lost money to play in the Super Bowl, as we found out.
Because when I was at Chris Sims talking about that, and he said we were asking about Disney, and he was like, I think it was him. And
Phil Sims,
sorry. And
right.
he was like, I didn't feel too great the next day.
Yeah. No, that was
We
Brad
celebrate.
Johnson.
It was Brad Johnson. I was trying to remember who said it.
He got to go there as well. Well, look, I mean, as far as their defense, I mean, I want to see our defense like that. I mean, we're not far off.
Of course you do. You're a former linebacker.
Well, I mean, just the suffocation part of it, the total disruption in the backfield.
The intimidation.
Just everything. Like, and not just the personnel, because they're loaded. I mean they're deep too. That's a big difference, I think, especially up front. But just the way the defense was called, that as well. The confusion, the disruption, the talent with just 4. They can get there with 4.
Yeah,
we couldn't always get there with 4. Right, I think consistently, you could say that this front 4, which we thought going in,
we couldn't get there with 5 sometimes,
was going to be unbelievable. I really did. I thought Mason Smith was going to be a big part of that. He was almost a non-factor this year. I don't even know what they're
training
going to do
camp. That's the one thing we talked about every single day after going to practices was these defensive edges are, they're unblockable. Yeah. But when it came to the regular season, I mean, it took Josh Hines-Allen a while to actually get to the quarterback and break the franchise record. All right, well, here is Julian Love, certainly a huge part of that Seattle defense. He was asked by Doug Farrar about just how good their defense is and why it's so good, and here he is.
Yeah, it's combined effort. To be able to kind of run the scheme that we do and have success the way we have, it just takes talent. It starts up front. Byron Murphy, honestly, is kind of the heartbeat of our defense. And he's just an unsung hero. I think his name needs to be mentioned more. Him, Leonard Williams, Jaron Reed up front, the depth that we have in the interior. And then our edges are killers. We see Boye, you see D. Hall, you see D. Law. They make plays. And so it starts up front. And the linebackers, Ernest is our leader, our captain. Him and Drake have been playing good ball. And then I would say our rookie, man, having our rookie, young Demon Warrior, him and Spoon, man, playing that as slot role, they're killers. They're some of the best players in this league, and so allowing that to happen when they can be stout versus the run, having our 4th down be stout versus the run, it allows me to be free, allows me and Kobe, our corners, to be free, and just play ball. So it's talent.
Imagine being Devin Witherspoon. Your nickname is Spoon, whereas Nick Eamon-Warry's nickname is Demon Worry. Like, he has a way better nickname than I do. But yeah, we obviously want to break it down position group by position group. But I think overall, when you have the talent at every single level, that's how you're able to beat a team like the Rams, even though they gave up yards and points and whatnot. But still, you're able to go toe for toe with those types of teams. And then obviously, like, easily beat other teams, including the Jags, because they trust each other, and the defensive play caller, Mike McDonald, understands also how to really confuse quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and they've got, look, they're 7 deep on their D-line that really make an impact. That doesn't include a couple of their outside backers who had big years. Ernest Jones is a great inside backer. He had 5 picks himself as well. He's a tackling machine. But you got to have that kind of depth, I think. I still think you could make an argument that you could roll as your starters again for the Jaguars is how you rolled them pretty much the whole year, right? With Eric and Devon. But you need a rotation. You need guys that, and maybe Eric's not your every down guy, although he's very good against the run, but maybe you have a guy that you invest in or draft in or whoever that can come in and make a difference. Not just stop and run. Stop and run's great. It's very, very important, but we need more than that, right? So Devon Hamilton, great at stopping the run. No question about it. Eric Armstead, you don't average 3.9 yards a carry against if your D tackles are getting blocked. You don't see those guys block down the field. You don't see them out of the, they're in the mix. But we need more. You look at Byron Murphy II,
who's 23.
He's unbelievable. Great against the run and 7 sacks. I mean, he's getting after it, and he was very good in the postseason. Leonard Williams. Now, they don't have any 10, 12, 15, but they've got 4 or 5 guys that are getting 7, 8, 6 sacks, and they add up after a while. So I think we need to start to get anywhere near the Seattle Seahawks defense, in my opinion, is up front.
Yeah.
And making sure that, hey, if you got to upgrade, but make sure that you got enough juice in the tank that if you got to take a guy out, the next guy coming in, he's just as good getting after the quarterback. And no disrespect to the guys. Dickerson plays his ass off. Smoot plays his ass off. They all try, but they're not at that type of production.
Yeah,
and they
Agba.
haven't been.
Yeah.
What's that?
Agba.
Yeah, and I don't think Agba will be here,
Right.
but we thought we were going to get 5 sacks out of him.
And then you had the rookies,
we would've
which
loved.
they probably should have leaned more on the rookies playing time-wise earlier in the season with BJ Green and Danny Strigo, because I think they did much more than we saw really out of Agba. And I love Smoot, but I think they were a little bit more active pass rush-wise than those two were.
Yeah, and they're the outside. They're not normally playing
Right,
inside, but I guess Strigow's big enough you could put him inside on a pass rushing down if you need to. And no, and that's a good call because I'm not looking to replace those 2 guys in particular because I think they got enough upside where you could use them as situational. You could use them as guys on 3rd down or in that, that NASCAR, whatever they call that type package where they're bringing in their best pass rushers. I think Green II's got a really lot of upside to be a really good pass rusher.
Yeah.
Just got to see more of it. But look, regardless of how great our outside guys may or may not be, our inside guys, that's what really changes things on a defensive front. And that doesn't mean on passing downs one of them comes inside. I don't mean that. But at the end of the day, you got to have a group in front that can collapse the pocket and corral the pocket.
Yeah.
Just corralling it,
Yeah.
that doesn't do anything. And don't give me pressure. That doesn't mean anything when the quarterback steps up and steps out because there's no pressure in his face. That means nothing that you got him out of the quarterback. You'd rather have him in the pocket. In the pocket. So you need that push up front, and we didn't have enough of that. Not
So
consistently.
if Eric Armstead doesn't get hurt, Taylor, I do wonder if we're having a little bit different of a conversation because he was getting to the quarterback certainly better than we've had interior pressure-wise in a while. But the fact is he did get hurt and then the production dropped off.
Well, and it was bad to begin. It was like bad in the beginning. Then he got good for the kind of middle gap. Then he got hurt and it disappeared again. So it is kind of how consistent can you get from Eric Armstead? Because that's the one thing that Seattle has is consistency between their defensive line on all of them. And when I was looking at some of these numbers, and the biggest difference is going to be those interior guys, Byron Murphy and Leonard Williams. Between those 2 guys, Leonard Williams, when you talk about pressure percentage, is like 11%. Byron Murphy is at 8%. You compare that to Devon and Eric, and it's 10 and 4.5%. And so that's a big difference in what you're creating in the pass rush win rate too. That was that number that Byron Murphy and Leonard Williams are just so much like a lot higher when it comes to that. Their sacks, they have, when you talk about that interior, they have 20 sacks in their interior. The Jags had 7 sacks in their interior. That's a massive difference. Those are things that kind of factor in. The run defense, who the Jags were good, like we talk about how good their run defense is. Seattle was even better in that number. Leonard Williams was the best when it comes against the run of any of the defensive linemen on these two teams. And so I think those to me are one of the big things, and we'll get to kind of the secondary too, but when it comes to up front, it's just that interior, because you can, if you're just comparing like a Lawrence and a Josh Hines-Allen, it's honestly pretty similar when you just look at numbers. You have to watch tape, and there's a lot of factors to this. And when I'm looking at these numbers, I use PFF, which you take with a grain of salt.
D-Law, by the way. We have T-Law. They have D-Law.
Yeah, right.
But the pressure percentage for Lawrence was 13%, and Josh Hines-Allen was 11%. The run defense, this was a huge one. DeMarcus Lawrence, 83.7 run defense grade, and Josh Hines-Allen was a 72.4. So some of those things you look at, and that's when you just kind of have that just extra something out of that group of guys. But I do think a Josh Hines-Allen compares. Trayvon, another one you are going to have questions like how much was because you weren't 100% and because he was hurt. And when you look at this, I mean, Derek Hall across from DeMarcus Lawrence, 15.8 pressure percent, and Walker only had a 7.5. So it's when you're looking at that, those things start to factor in, because you have Josh Hines-Allen, but outside of that, everybody was pretty drastically different than the other three that they had as starters.
All of it included. Josh was above everybody. I'll give Eric and Trayvon a little bit because of the injury.
Right.
I mean, it's hard. It's not hard to play the run because you can smash, and hold, and not hold literally, but to grip and rip and do your moves with a club on your hand. That's hard to do in the pass rush game. So I'll give him a little bit of that. However, they did get hurt. And Eric is up there in age. He wasn't ready for the preseason. He was hurt all camp. Then he gets hurt. It's just like, I'm not saying get rid of him, but you got to bring in some assurances that
how do you
if he
upgrade?
does go down, at least have someone that's as good as the run, but a little bit more consistent in the pass. But I do think, look, I mean, you can see his production. You're right, Taylor. He didn't start off, hit a sack against Cincinnati, a half against Houston, and then a sack against San Fran, another sack against Seattle, and then there was another Houston and LA. He had a sack each. So that's where his 5.5 come from. But from week, November 23rd, so the last 6-7 weeks, his production went down, but he was injured. So what does he finish with? Let's just say he finishes with 8.5. Yeah, we'd be like, yeah, that's a lot better.
Heck yeah.
But those 3 sacks, do they change the way we feel about our defense putting teams away?
I know what you
about
mean.
closing it out.
If the Jaguars had gotten 2 more sacks against the Bills, do they potentially win that game?
Well, yeah, but you can't pick and choose where the sacks go. I do it all into one game. You got 5 in one game.
But what I mean is, would our view of the defense be a little bit different if the Jaguars obviously had made it farther in the postseason? The answer is yes. But I know exactly what, to your point, the Jaguars allowed inferior teams like the Bengals with a backup quarterback after Joe Burrow went out. The Cardinals and the Raiders certainly are 2 more games. The Texans game, the fourth quarter, we always talk about. All of those are what, you pinpoint and say, even though the Jaguars won against the Raiders and the Cardinals, they still allowed way too many points to offenses that weren't very good.
And letting teams back in.
And against bad offensive lines. When you look at some of the teams they faced this year with some of the worst offensive lines, like Houston Texans and Bengals being one of those.
Maybe we wouldn't have beaten the Patriots.
That's what you kind of look at too, is you had a lot of opportunities against bottom 5 offensive lines, and you weren't able to stack some of that up when it comes to the pressure. And we talked about the pressure percentage not being everything, but you still want to be able to create that, but you want to be able to translate those pressures into sacks, and that's what Seattle's good at. When you look at it, even total, so the pass rush snaps, the Seattle had over 3,100. This is including postseason for both these teams, by the way. So 3,100 in all of the postseason and regular season for Seattle. They had 247 pressures, which with those 4 starters, I'm just calculating those guys. So that's a 12.3 pressure percent rate, 35 sacks in that time, and then their run defense was graded at a 69.7. The Jags had 2,666 in their regular season in the 1 postseason game, 206 pressures, only an 8.3 pressure percent rate, 14 less sacks during that time, and then the run defense was graded like 4% lower also. So those are all the things that just add up, the little things, and that's when personnel is so important, because those interior guys, what Byron Murphy and Leonard Williams do on that defense automatically got them up that almost 3.5 extra, 3.5% higher when it comes to the pressure percentage alone.
Yeah, and look, it's their first year in turning this thing around. So it's great where they're at,
right?
But they got to upgrade.
And number 1 run defense in comparison to the year before, right?
There's a ton of positives, but to be a Super Bowl champ, you need something like that, at least close to that. That kind of defense,
For
that
sure.
can really take over a game. Let's. I don't know if we can go game by game, but think of last year for the Jags, the quarterbacks they went against.
2024 or 2025?
25. Who they really flustered, rattled. Even when the guys were open, like Drake, even the guys were open, he was missing them because he was either scared, timid, off his game, whatever it was, hurting, whatever it was.
Justin Herbert is probably the one that comes to mind, but I don't know that I can rattle off many more than that.
Where you're like, man, that quarterback's just totally, he's out of it, right? Because they've harassed him so much that he doesn't know what to do. And that's not easy to do. I'm not saying that.
Right. There was,
okay,
when Daniel Jones went out, the Riley Leonard came in, and I remember the whole time thinking, this is not going to go well. Even though he
should do against the third string quarterback.
Right. But I remember thinking, he's throwing an interception.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But that's not necessarily all because of pressure. That's because he was a rookie who hadn't played at this point in time. But those are the ones, I guess, that come to mind. All right. I want to keep it on this conversation because I have a question about a player that is already on the roster, and I wonder, moving forward, if they could kind of change his position to fit what the Jaguars need.
Okay.
So we'll discuss that when we return. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels, 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels from the Greenlaw Group Studios. Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast Orthopedic Specialist for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialist take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Backed by
Morgan & Morgan.
Did you know your roof ages from the inside out? By the time you see a leak, damage already exists beneath the shingles. Sun exposure, humidity, and seasonal storms slowly weaken roofing materials over time. If your roof is 15 years old or more, then now is the time to start planning, not reacting. At Endless Summer Roofing, we provide professional inspections and clear guidance so you can make informed decisions. Visit EndlessSummerRoofing.com to schedule a free inspection. Endless Summer Roofing, protecting your home from Florida's endless summer.
At Hollis Pools, building a pool is personal. We sit down with you, listen to your vision, and bring your backyard dreams to life right here in Northeast Florida. Working with us doesn't feel like working with a contractor. It feels like working with family. Every Hollis Pools project supports Project Savior Outdoors, helping bring hope to our veterans. Visit HollisPools.com. Hollis Pools, your vision, your pool, your escape. License number CPC 1461233.
Be the first to discover the best new home community in beautiful Green Cove Springs. Highland Trail, where the rhythm of life slows down. Enjoy green spaces, luxury pools, pickleball courts, winding trails, and more at livehighlandtrail.com. Choose from 3 premium builders, just starting in the 300s.
Oh, at Highland Trail.
Been in a car crash? I'm local attorney Rick Alexander, and I've made it our mission at the Alexander Law Practice to listen to you so I can fight for the best possible result for you. I've been practicing over 30 years, and our team focuses on guiding you through the entire process. And because fees and reimbursement costs come out at the end of the case, I will never ask you to come out of pocket. For a free review, call 904-400-6600 or log on to alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
When it's game time, make feeding the crowd easy. Chicken Salad Chick serves fresh Southern-style chicken salad, flavorful sides, and crowd-favorite catering trays. Order ahead at chickcatering.com or visit one of 4 area locations today.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to complex engine repairs, AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Tom Sean McManus, Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. By the way, I saw that Will Campbell said he tore a ligament in his knee this season and he was not 100% for the playoffs. So maybe that's why he didn't want to talk to the media. The Patriots, left tackle. All right. So the question that I was referring to before we went to break, Trayvon Walker. Could Trayvon Walker be, quote unquote, repurposed, reassigned, so to speak? Instead of being a true edge rusher, you have Josh Hines-Allen and another edge rusher. And then you have Trayvon Walker more as the replacement for Eric Armstead. But obviously, that's not probably what Trayvon Walker would want. So that's not part of this conversation. This conversation is, do you have that player on the roster? Yes, you'd have to get another edge guy to add depth. But could Trayvon Walker become that?
I think yes. And the question more so is, does Trayvon Walker want to become that, and how does that look? I think that would be more of the question, because I think he can do it. We saw it this year, them move him inside.
They played quite a bit
inside. Especially down the stretch. And I do think you see a lot of good things out of Trayvon there. It's something, you go back to college. I mean, they played him everywhere in college, and that was one of the conversations when they drafted him, is where exactly do you put Trayvon, because he didn't have a place on that defense. It was kind of like a little bit of everything, and it's like, cool, he can do everything, but can he do anything elite? And that's what I think they're honestly still trying to figure out, is where the best place for him may be. So maybe you see more of that, and I think it would work. I just more so wonder if it's because I think when you look at contract wise, like the edge rushers compared to the defensive linemen, does that start to affect where Trayvon's like, wait, no, I want to be an edge rusher, because he's these defensive ends.
And he's elite against the run. Trayvon Walker for sure is.
Yeah, I mean, look, he a lot more double teams as a 3 technique, but he's a big, strong guy. There's no question about it. I think as far as the contract goes with Eric, I'm expecting Eric to be here, unless they trade him, which I don't think they trade. Nobody. That's a big contract to pick up. They don't really gain a lot. Maybe a post 1, maybe,
June 1st.
They're just June 1st when I say post 1. Yeah, didn't everyone know what I was talking about? Come on. I just had a thought there.
Post Malone, June 1st, it all runs together. Yeah. I think Eric's here too, but isn't he better at coming probably as a role player? Moving.
I was thinking about that, LB. Like, maybe he's your rotational, but you're paying him $18 million a year.
I mean, you were paying Walker Little starting left tackle salary, and you decided to pay Cole Van Lanen and roll with it. So
I mean, you might as well
I understand these are not their guys, so to speak, right? Even though they've spoken glowingly about Trayvon Walker for sure. But they didn't draft him, and we're going to keep having this conversation until this roster is virtually full of all of their guys. And Josh Hines-Allen obviously was drafted a long time ago, but Josh Hines-Allen was still very productive this year, pressures-wise and sacks-wise, pretty productive sacks-wise. And then Trayvon, I just feel like, to your point, Taylor, at Georgia, they used him so many different ways, which is great. But that's why everybody outside of Trent Baalke said, take Aiden Hutchinson. He is an elite pass rusher. And yes, Trayvon Walker we thought maybe could develop into that, but certainly wasn't ready for that right away.
Yeah, the only thing, and I'm just thinking while we're talking here, like would he be See, one thing about Eric is he's a pretty good pass rusher from the defensive 10. He's got a built-in, swim move because he's so tall, right? But he does have moves. He does use his hands. He does not just power. A lot of times he does, but not just power. I think of like the elite D tackles with Jeffrey Simmons, Chris Jones. Yeah. Even the guys from Philly. They got some move. I don't know if Trayvon has that quick, with the hands, violent with the hands.
But then
pass rush type guy from inside.
Doesn't that make him better inside than outside?
Well, if he bull rushes all the time, which he's good at, so that.
But I'm saying if he doesn't have the speed rush, isn't he not as effective as an outside edge rusher?
Well, and when you're outside, you got a little more time to do your move. When you're inside, you're like right off the snap. You go watch Aaron Donald with his arms, like it's like karate chop city, and knocking these hands. I don't, maybe he could do it. I'm not saying he can't.
Sure.
But I don't want to, just because he's powerful, which he is, very good against the run, which he is, a bull rusher, which he is. I don't know if that makes us good against the run, but does it solve what we really need help on? And that's
and the Jags are already really good against the run.
I'm not saying it couldn't.
Yeah. Well, or do you get a guy that is also versatile so that you have somebody who you move both of them? Because you see other other teams. Seattle moves their guys. They'll play all over the place, and that's one of the things. If you have somebody that you trust, like a Trayvon Walker 2.0, that you feel like in certain situations that he's your edge rusher, and you move Trayvon inside, because then you're making your defense even more unpredictable. I don't know how. We had the issue with Ryan Nielsen of moving too much, and you don't want it to turn back into those hockey shifts where it's okay, nobody ever gets set, and you feel like it just didn't seem functional to do that. But Seattle moves these guys around a lot, and that's why when you look at their pass rush snaps, a lot of them, it's not nearly as many as the Jags line was getting because they were counting so much on those starting 4, while Seattle was moving these guys all over the place and putting a lot of their depth pieces, which is another thing. When you have the depth you can count on, you feel like those starting 4 don't have to be out there as much, which keeps them fresh. And that's why at the end of games you're still getting sacks and pressures and all of that.
And this regime had to raise the floor, so they couldn't necessarily be like, let me get depth at the edge rush position and depth at the defensive tackle position. And they probably did think, Tom, to your point, Mason Smith, I mean, he was phenomenal for a season at LSU, and then injuries have gotten in the way. And so when you see the raw potential, you think, I'm excited I can work with this. But because of injuries, obviously not available at training camp, and then...
Well, injury, and I wonder if he's got a little of that early Anton, does he want to, type thing when Coach Cohen called out Anton Harrison about, when he wants to, he plays great, and obviously he did this year. But I wonder if Mason's got a little bit of that in him. He's so, big, strong, all that stuff athletically. Maybe he's never really had to work at stuff, and now he has to because everybody else is just as big or just as strong and just as powerful. You gotta have moves. I mean, you gotta do something. You can't just in college you could run over a guy, just grab the guy and throw him out of the way and go make a play. In the pros, it's really hard to do that. So you got to come up with something. But nothing. I always say this about the NFL, and it's college too, I guess, and maybe at all levels, but at least with NFL football, nothing happens without reason in the NFL. You know what I mean? And there's a reason Mason Smith wasn't counted on more. Some of it was early injury, I'm sure, but there's more to that story. That kid is way too top of the food chain type body type to not be an absolute animal out there. I mean, he should be destroying people. I don't know why he's not. Maybe they can get it out of him. Maybe there's still something to get out of him. But gosh, you'd think if you're that big and powerful, you'd want to be that Jeffrey Simmons. Like that's how he's built. I mean, look, by the way, Eric was that back in his early days. Eric was a total beast at that left tackle, considered one of the best at that left tackle or that defensive tackle position when he was younger with the 49ers. And when we signed him, we all thought, oh, man, we're getting Eric Armstead from the 49ers. Like, he's going to be unbelievable inside. I can't wait. And then he played outside.
We're like, hold on, what's happening?
And then the whole rigmarole, whatever. And then he's back inside. He's not the same player as he was, but he's still a good player.
Very good,
So you just, look, if you could add, all right, if we kept the front 4, okay? And throw in Strigow and Green the second. We'll keep them in there. But if you could add,
so Devon Hamilton, Eric Armstead, Josh Heinzel, and Trayvon Walker.
Yeah, and you, if one of those, this Strigow or Green the second, this could come from. If you could add one more, just reliable. Know you're going to get to the QB. Know he's going to disrupt the backfield. You know what I mean? He's that kind of pass rusher, that kind of defensive lineman. You would be that much closer, and it would it would make everybody else better too. You know what I mean? Because you don't look out of the 4, and you can't count Devon because he doesn't pass rush very well. He's just really good against the run. So out of the 3, you know what I mean? After that, you're like, I don't know. They got potential. I like them. But they haven't shown enough to where. But maybe they can. But you need more than that. I mean, think of this, guys. You've named most of them: Derek Hall, Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy II, DeMarcus Lawrence, Boye Mafe, Jaron Reed, who's still there. They drafted him years ago. Your guy from Notre
Riley
Dame
Mills,
who was hurt. I mean, he had a sack in the Super Bowl. Take Uchenna Nwasu, or however you pronounce his name. Like, he's another guy that gets after the QB. If we could have that kind of production and not just out of 3, which, by the way, out of 3, it was really 1 maybe a little bit of Eric because before the injury, but Trayvon just didn't have it all year. Part of that's injury too. So now we're breaking really down. What do we have? We got one guy, compared to what 7.
And then you can double team when you're only afraid of one guy. It's so interesting how on the offensive side we talked so much about how Trevor Lawrence spreads the ball around, and you can never really figure out the one target game in and game out. But on the defensive side, it wasn't like that. Yeah, exactly. All right, we'll keep this conversation going. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010 XL, 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels.
Protected by
Green Law Group. For the insured. Fighting for you.
Get the goods on Gainesville 24/7. Search 1010XL Gators on YouTube.
Hey, it's Brent with Arcosa Crushed Concrete. If you've got concrete or asphalt rubble on your site, let me buy it from you, and I will recycle it into construction material for your future projects. Arcosa Crushed Concrete. Get paid for what you don't need.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Litigated by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Need or want cash? Beaches Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all, selling or pawning. Get cash on the spot at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On February 10th, 1992, speed skater Bonnie Blair won the 1992 Olympic first gold medal for Team USA.
Low mortgage rates are back. Listen, Loan Pronto has fixed rate mortgages with APRs as low as 4.89%. It's the lowest in years. Hey, gang, Prosser here. Smart homeowners are taking advantage of this while they can. If you got stuck in a 6% loan, you can lower your payment big time. Or you can keep your primary mortgage intact, get cash out. Equity with Loan Pronto's rapid equity loans. One homeowner just got $250,000 out of their home. They paid off all their credit cards, some car loans, and cut their monthly expense by $2,000. Call now. See what option works best for you, but don't miss this big rate drop of 2026. Ask about new home loans, VA loans, full cash out refis, or their famous rapid equity loan. You can close in less than 2 weeks. You may be able to skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call 904-999-1508 or visit loanpronto.com. No hard credit pull. 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. APR for well-qualified buyers.
Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. When mice and rats show up in your home or business, that's a real pain. You need them out fast before they have time to multiply. Terminix knows how to shut down rodents, and they'll keep them from coming back to wreak more havoc. When rodents show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with a rodent problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule your free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com.
Let's talk about the sound no homeowner wants to hear. Drip, drip, drip. Still dripping. That's exactly why Duck Duck Rooter created the Love Your Pipes promotion. Plumbing problems don't scare us. Not with years of experience and honest upfront pricing on our side. Right now, you can get free plumbing assessment on all fixtures with any paid plumbing service. It's the smart move to fix the issue now before it becomes bigger. So when you're stuck, call the Duck, 904-862-6769, duckduckrooter.com.
The First Coast Games is an annual team-building challenge to introduce fun activities into the workplace and focus on your employees' health and wellness goals. These goals include some friendly competition, of course, including pickleball, cornhole, volleyball, flag football, and other team sports. The games will begin in March. Register your company and teams at fcymca.org.
Hi, I'm Susan Peters, CEO and founder of Possibilities Plus. Thanks to the players for supporting our mission to enhance the lives of teens and adults with different abilities. It's 28 days until the players.
Hey Jacksonville, this is Dr. George Bari, your local orthopedic surgeon. In the wintertime here in Jacksonville, it does get pretty cold, and sometimes you wake up with aches and pains in your shoulders and knees. Don't forget to stretch and stay mobilized so these joints don't stiffen up. And if that doesn't work, you can see us at Bari Orthopedics, where we can give you the treatment that you need.
Be sure and check out the expertise from Dr. George Bari and the entire staff at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Creedence Clearwater Revival is one of my all-time favorite bands.
Yeah, we sing this one.
Yes.
Yeah, we love this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, CCR, baby. He's great.
Oh, yeah.
You know, from Illinois, my brothers would listen to him all the time. Hank Jr.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you think, like, we're up near Chicago.
Right.
Listen to Hank. They would. They're a little bit older than me, not that much, but they were, in that kind of era-esque.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's a little older than me, but I listened to it because my parents listened to it.
And my roommate in college, Adam Womack, was a fullback, massive Leonard Skinner fan. We're like,
Oh.
who? What are you talking about? Who are we talking about? He's like, Southern
That
Rock,
band with all the
man.
Ys.
Yeah.
Southern Rock is, I love
Yeah.
Allman Brothers, Leonard Skinner. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I got to see Hank Williams Jr. Brad and I saw him at the St. Augustine Amphitheater a few years ago.
Oh, cool.
It was really
that
fun.
Would be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Old school, man.
It was a lot of fun. I was surprised that there were children like near us in the section. I was like, I don't know that Hank's music is really for
towards
children
them.
under the age
Yeah.
of 10, but that's
fine.
neither here nor there. All right, so we're talking the Jaguars defense, comparing that to the Seahawks defense. We've really only talked about that front line.
Yeah,
to
we
this
didn't get
point
much
in
beyond
time.
that. Which I have one more note on that.
Go for
Sorry.
it.
Because we were talking about Mason Smith. And this is one right now at this point in time, I'm saying you have to upgrade the interior defensive line no matter what. If Eric comes back and Devon comes back and you still have Mason and obviously you will still have Mason, I still think you have to try and upgrade the interior because that's one of the biggest when comparing these two teams and when you look at everything Seattle does right, those interior pieces that they have there, just are a world of difference in a lot of this games. Even when I was glancing game by game and just the impact that they had, like in some of the quarterbacks, especially the better quarterbacks in the NFL, didn't struggle against anybody until they got to Seattle, and all of a sudden they're having issues with Seattle. Obviously, Matthew Stafford is one of the only quarterbacks this year that were able to kind of figure out how to handle some of those things that Seattle was doing. But with Mason Smith, I remember the reason I wasn't a fan of the pick when it happened was I felt like it was just too high. To draft him in the second round, everybody said he was going to be a project. That's what was talked about coming into that draft, is Mason Smith is not ready yet for the NFL. He's going to be a bit of a project, but he's a big guy. He has the body type. All of those
arms,
things. Yeah,
bulky
long
guy.
arms. He tore his ACL his junior or sophomore season, whatever it was, and then senior season. He was fine. LSU had one of the worst defenses in the NFL, and you take two guys, Jordan Jefferson and Mason Smith, off that defense. And that concerned me because I felt like there was so much development to be had. And then so now you're talking about where he had a Ryan Nielsen defense, and we know how dysfunctional that is. He's dealt with injuries also already in this. So I just feel like he also hasn't been able to even try and be properly developed, and that is an issue with him because he always was going to be one of those guys that needed to have that developmental help and wasn't quite ready to be a starter in the NFL. That's where my concern comes in. Is it too late going into year 3 to try and figure out if Mason Smith is somebody that you feel like fits this defense, all while developing him, all while also trying to get depth pieces and all of this and figure out if you want a rotation? I just don't know how well it fits in Jacksonville, and that's my one kind of concern when it comes to Mason Smith.
Well, right now, you got Austin Johnson ahead of him and Matt Dickerson ahead of him. Those guys just earned those positions, and those are their guys. You know what I mean? So Austin Johnson came in and did an okay job, man. He came in, a big guy, helped stop the run. But again, not enough in the pass rush department.
Yeah, I think we thought Colin Saunders would help and be maybe a role player on this team, but
that was nothing.
It didn't last long at
So
all.
I'd be curious. Do you keep Mason Ehrman and let him try to earn it maybe one more time? Maybe. I wouldn't be opposed to that, but it'll be interesting to see who they go after and because they can't keep everybody. If they bring guys in, some of these guys won't be here. I got to think Emmanuel Ogbah won't be here.
Yeah, I would tend to
imagine.
agree with
That was a 1-year deal, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what went on with him. Maybe he was injured too. I don't know. Maybe it was a year of injury for all the D linemen. But at the end of the day, he didn't do enough. I thought he was going to be different. I
thought we'd get 5 or 6 sacks.
Yeah,
I really
sure.
did.
Yeah. And I do want to point out too, the Jaguars run a 4-3 defense. The Seahawks run a 3-4.
Yeah.
So I feel like for years in Jacksonville, when we had Todd Wash as the coordinator, there was this constant argument about, well, the Jags need to be this and they're that, right? Like they need to be a 3-4 and they're a 4-3, and then it switches and then it at the end of the day, I don't think that's the part. The scheme obviously is important, but I don't think that's the part that's holding Anthony Campanile's defense back.
Yeah, and I also think they mix way too much up on defenses now. You never see, like, that's your base. And your base, you're not in your base very often is what you kind of look like too. And so you see these defenses and they're doing so many different things now. It's barely ever where you're just seeing, all right, there's the 3-4. Like, that's what they're
and that part of what Julian Love was talking about was they're in dime.
Yeah.
Dime stopping the run. Well, Minori, I love that name. He's built like a back. I mean, he's a big guy. He can fly to the football. So he's just another rover type, strong safety type, linebacker. Because think about it, when you go dime, other than your front four and your middle backer, you got DBs.
Right.
They're all DBs.
Yeah.
So to be able to shut down the run and stop the run, that means up front they're really, really good. The backer left by himself is very, very good. The scheme's got to be real good, and then those 6 DBs. I mean, they just
right.
And
better
they're
be
good.
good.
You go down the list.
Because that's why for people who don't know the ins and outs, I suppose nickel is because you have 5. That's 5 is the nickels, and 5 DBs, and then 6, and dime.
Dime.
So, and you were saying on break that you feel like somebody like an Antonio Johnson can do similar to what they do with Eamon Mori.
Well, just comparing their seasons, they're pretty comparable. He's a big guy. Minori's a little bit bigger, but Antonio's big enough. I think Antonio's got just a tremendous ceiling. I think he could be one of the better
Ton of
players.
upside.
Yeah.
And how you utilize him. I just hope one thing that and I think Anthony throughout the year got more aggressive. Campanile, I want to start off aggressive. And I get it's your first year.
Right.
You're figuring it out. You got to figure that stuff out. I'm not bagging on him for it at all. But I hope he comes out with like they were doing. They show up with 7 at the line. You don't know who's coming, when they're coming. We started doing that. Remember, mid towards we were talking about it. Like, man, I love how he lines up like 5 on one side, 2 on the other. You don't know who's coming. These guys are coming off. These guys are going. You're screwing.
Sanjarian Jones.
Yeah, all of that stuff. So.
We also had to bring it back first.
Yes.
He was like, let's simplify all this for a minute. And then he just started being like, all right, you got the basics. Let's go. And you started seeing that down the stretch.
Right. And I do want to reiterate, like, we're talking about a Jaguars defense that was really good.
Yeah.
Outside of a few games, certainly lots of drives, but a few games.
Yeah.
We're not saying like the Jaguars really need to fix the defense. They need to fix certain pieces of the defense.
Right. They're not Seattle. And that's what your goal
you're
is to
achieving.
be.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and Liam said it best. He's like, look, we got to the playoffs, but that's not good enough.
Yeah. Right.
We're not here just to get to the playoffs.
Josh Allen did whatever he wanted against you that day, it felt like, and you don't want that to happen.
Right. We've turned to 2026. We're not on 2025 anymore. We're winning the Super Bowl in 2026 and trying to figure out how to get that accomplished. You got that right. We are just like the Olympic athletes. By the way, I read a story about the couple that got married during Bad Bunny's halftime show. The reason that they were even a part of it is they had extra wedding invitations, and they know that people send Bad Bunny wedding invitations apparently. So they sent him one. His people got it, and then he invited them to get married.
Oh, they really got married.
And they really got married.
wow.
And so, the song that he sung is called Baile Inolvidable, which means unforgettable dance.
Did the song marry him, or were they already married, or did somebody actually marry him while they're there?
They got married at halftime. I don't know who the officiant notary was. I don't know that part. But I at least thought the part of that was kind of cool. Like, they just sent a flyer of a wedding invitation, and then they had Lady Gaga at their wedding.
Yeah, they're like, everybody was there. I've seen people do that with different celebrities. Like, they'll just randomly send it, and sometimes the celebrity will like show up to their wedding, and it's just kind of a thing. That seems like an absolute nightmare for me, getting all of those people watching me. I even think about a wedding now, and having like 10 people there gives me anxiety, let alone all of these people watching me everywhere. That seems like I would throw up and hate that.
I will say, having only a few people there is the way to go. Plus your dog. Have your dog there as well.
Have the dog.
All right, a little college football on the other side. Time for Lauren's Lane. It's 1010XL 92.5 FM.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Fought for you by Green Law Group on 1010XL.
Duval. This is former Jaguars corner Aaron Beasley. You're listening to 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Home of the Jaguars.
And that concludes the Joe C. Jack of All Trades show. Tune in next week where I'll be installing my own French drain.
Joe, wake up, man.
Hey, John, I must have dozed off.
We finished those projects you started.
Whoa, my seamless gutters are actually seamless.
And they're connected into underground PVC drain lines.
And my sprinklers. Wow, look at that coverage.
Next time, Just call me first, Joe.
I will, but I ain't singing that song.
Clearwater Irrigation
and drainage too.
It's a Helmets and Heels Tuesday, backed by Morgan & Morgan.
Joe C here. The XL Primetime crew will be live from Lifetime Enclosures this Thursday, noon to 2. It's their February open house all weekend, and we've got a pair of tickets to the Eric Church concert in April to give away. Thursday, noon to 2, or all weekend long at Lifetime Enclosures.
Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, congratulating our Scholar Athlete of the Week, Annie Craig Charnley, senior basketball player at Wilson High. Annie is the co-president of the National Honor Society and is on the AB Honor Roll and the AP Scholar Award.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. When you need a trailer hitch, gooseneck, or RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We've been doing it for 55 years, and customer service is our #1 priority. Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Living on Amelia Island, having fun in Fernandina Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mocama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect Pilsners and lagers, matching memories and some Mocama magic is what it's all about. Mocama Beer Company in Fernandina Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mocama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
Finding the perfect romantic gift she'll treasure forever? It's easier than you think at Beard's Diamonds this Valentine's Day. We've curated a stunning selection of timeless, affordable jewelry she'll absolutely love. Dazzling rings, sparkling earrings, elegant pendants and bracelets, set with brilliant diamonds or colorful gemstones. Classic gold that never goes out of style. And you can't beat the wow factor of top brand designer jewelry. At Beard's, we've got it all under one roof. And right now, we're cranking up the romance with an unbeatable limited time offer. Save up to 40% on all diamond stud earrings, pendants, and tennis bracelets. Imagine her face lighting up when she opens that signature Beards box on February 14th. Pure magic that lasts a lifetime. Guys, cards, flowers, and candy are sweet, but nothing says I love you forever like a sparkling gift she'll wear and cherish every single day. And that gift is on major sale right now. Plus, Beards is your local Jacksonville jeweler, family owned and community strong for over 45 years. Right here in the St. John's Town Center. Not some Wall Street chain. We're your neighbors, and we're here for you. Hurry in today. Don't wait. Beards Diamonds, St. John's Town Center.
When women lead, communities thrive. Hi, I'm Liz Graby from the Jacksonville Business Journal. The JBJ and PNC Bank invite you to join Women of Influence, a powerful celebration honoring the women who are driving change, breaking barriers, and shaping the future of business in Northeast Florida. Come celebrate their impact, connect with leaders from across our region, and leave inspired. Women of Influence, where leadership is recognized and influence is celebrated. For tickets and more information, visit jbjevents.com.
This is Frank Frangie for the farm in Okefenokee. Can you imagine owning a handcrafted cabin tucked into a 1,000-acre regenerative farm? Imagine enjoying fresh produce from the garden, fruit from the orchard, meats from the smokehouse. Every meal is a true farm-to-table experience all year long. Belong to a place where your family can choose nature over screens, spending their days feeding animals, picking berries, and fishing in the farm's pond. Learn more at okefarm.com. That's okefarm.com.
Pages in your mailbox right now. Did you know there's local savings sitting in your mailbox right now? Money Pages is packed with real coupons from your favorite local businesses. Save money at restaurants like Al's Pizza, on pet care at Forever Vets, and on entertainment for the whole family at the Alhambra Theater. Plus, make sure to download the Money Pages app for savings on the go. Money Pages in your mailbox right now.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by Awaken 180. Tomorrow, the Jacksonville Dolphins basketball team will head south to DeLand to take on the Stetson Hatters for a 7 o'clock tip, airing on 1010 AM and the 1010XL app. As for the North Florida Ospreys, they travel over to the West Coast, set for a 7 p.m. tip-off against the Florida Gulf Coast Eagles. It's currently 77 degrees at 3:02. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
By the way, before we get to Lauren's Lane, I got an email from Spotify. I've been a Spotify premium member, whatever, subscriber for a long time. So when I first started back, this would have been many years ago, more than 10 years ago, it was $9.99. And then it went up to $10.99 and then $11.99. And now the email says going up to $12.99. Like, at what point do you...
Is it enough?
Yeah. At what point do I keep paying for it?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I don't remember mine ever going up, but I'm like, maybe I just haven't been paying attention. I also locked into like, they had some package deal where I get my Spotify and Hulu, and it's a combined thing. I think I only paid $12 for like both of them combined.
Well, I'm getting ripped off.
Yeah,
then.
you are.
Yeah, I get those Apple charges. Like, I'm assuming they're my daughters. I get Netflix and Apple.
There's always random
You know what I
Apple. Apple charges you random like $2.99 for all this stuff all the time. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm.
Yeah, the storage.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, there's Apple TV, which is in addition to that. And then
I only use Apple for some reason. I don't know why. I'd never go on Spotify.
So with Spotify, the reason I pay for premium is the no commercials, but also like you have all of the songs anytime you want and things like that. Whereas it used to be Pandora was super popular, but Pandora, you had to pick a radio station and then they got to pick the music for you, which is great. But if you're someone like me who wants to create playlists like Taylor does too, like I want to be able to listen to whatever I want, whenever I want.
Yeah.
And so I've always paid for it, like I said, not to have the commercials in addition to that. But it is getting more and more expensive.
Yeah, just for music. But you got to have your playlist. You know, I seem
and
to
the
listen
artists
to the
have
same
to
ones
get
all the
paid.
time.
That's the one thing. The artists barely get anything from that.
Right.
I've seen a lot of artists post about how it kind of sucks for them, how it's like this world now because they only get like 1 cent per listen or something, like something crazy like that, or less than that, maybe like 1 cent per X amount of listens or something.
Yeah.
And so Spotify has to try and find ways to pay the artist as much as possible. So we've got to pay them. And that's the thing. You like, we have to pay the 13 or whatever. But back in the day, you had to buy a CD every time you wanted to.
Correct.
You had to buy a new CD.
Well, who pays for Apple though? I mean, who? You know what I mean? Do the
Like you're paying.
I'm paying it through my plan.
Yeah.
I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair
And I'm sure there's like different levels too. Like Spotify has like premium, but you don't have to pay for it if you don't want to. You like it has the free, but you don't get to skip songs and there's certain things. And I'm sure Apple has similar. Like,
And I just, to your point, we haven't paid for music until like specific songs that, I suppose I shouldn't complain.
Yeah.
$13
you don't
a
have
month.
to ruin your computer from LimeWire anymore.
Also true. A lot of computers ruined from that. All right, time now for Lauren's Lane.
Now, Lauren's Lane. Opened up by Closets by Design. Imagine your home totally organized.
All right, according to On3, 6 college football programs signed both the top recruiting and transfer portal classes. That's right, just 6 teams did that. I will run through them for you. Texas A&M, recruiting number 7, portal class ranking number 3. Again, should not really surprise anyone. Mike Elko's a good recruiter, and they've got a lot of money. The other school in Texas, number 10 in both recruiting and the transfer portal. LSU, number 12 in recruiting, number 4 in the portal class rankings. Notre Dame, number 2 in recruiting.
Go Irish.
Number 9 in the portal class
Tommy's
rankings.
jealous. I'm guessing BC is not on this list.
They are not.
They're on my list, Taylor. That's all that matters.
You're trimming them as fat. We don't know what you're
they're
talking
right
about.
on the borderline.
They're
Getting
out.
cut, baby.
Miami, number 8 in recruiting, number 14 in transfer portal class rankings, and Florida, number 14 in recruiting. That's right. And number 12 in transfer portal class rankings. John Summerall quote tweeted the tweet from On3 with this information and put a rat emoji and then a poison emoji, aka rat poison, which of course Nick Saban has always done, and then Lane Kiffin's been doing it recently. I think he's trying to tell people to, just calm their expectations just a little bit. It's his first year and things like that. But he obviously did a great job in bringing back some of the marquee players, and then he was able to hold a recruiting class together, which was unbelievable, considering he was also still coaching at Tulane because they had a postseason game.
Yeah,
that might have helped, actually.
Maybe.
They're like, he's coaching in the postseason.
Yeah, he gets a little bit of time. New coaches get a little bit of time.
It gets shorter and shorter, that leash these
I know.
days.
Well,
My goodness.
What was Billy's thing? He would just do eyeballs. Like,
Yes.
It was just like eyeballs. Very creative, Billy.
The eyeball
should
emoji.
stay off social media, right?
Well, they can't stay off social media because that's how they connect
kids,
to recruits, and that's not going against the
Right.
minutes that they can talk to them and things like
do not
that.
tell Lane Kiffin to stay off social media.
He loves it.
It's too much content, right? The cool part about this time of year, by the way, baseball for college baseball starts on Friday, so that part is awesome. If you love baseball, get out to some local baseball. And tonight, the softball season has already started. Florida is now 4-0, I believe. But tonight, Florida is at JU in softball, so we'll be there. Yes, be there sitting in the outfield, taking it all in.
I love that. I went to my first college baseball game last year, and it was a blast. I'm definitely going. We have the Jacksonville Baseball Classic, I think is what it's called.
Live Like Lou,
coming up.
Jack's
Some
Baseball
good
Classic.
teams that'll be there this year. Notre Dame will be there, so I will be there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Notre Dame, Indiana, LSU, and UCF, I think.
Yeah, I think that's right. So yeah, it'll be fun. I love college baseball.
Yeah, when was the Florida State game? A year ago, maybe.
They do it every.
They play multiple times per year. Once in
No, I mean
Gainesville,
in
once in
Jacksonville.
Tallahassee, and then
One in
once
Jacksonville,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's always at the end of March.
Yeah, I went to one of those. That was fun.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
always
a
a good time.
blast.
Yeah.
That's a good
Because
one.
you've got pretty much split in half, kind of like
Yeah.
Florida, Georgia, except baseball
Yeah,
edition.
baseball.
Yeah, we got to sit like right behind the dugout last year, and for Florida State baseball, it was unbelievable.
Yeah. The 2 years before that, we had a broadcast from there, and I felt so bad for Lauren because it's just like we barely see where because unfortunately we're like kind of set up in the
concourse.
The concourse, but it's all the fans are standing up most of the time, so Lauren's like trying to watch the game,
Having to pay
also
attention to the
talk.
show and things like that. Yeah, that was when our show was 6 to 8. We
Yeah,
love
don't
2
have
to
to worry
4.
about that
So
anymore.
much better. That's for sure. All right, I want to get it to the Super Bowl logo for the Super Bowl 61 that'll be in LA next year. The colors of it are really interesting, and we have to continue talking about Jags Seahawks as far as defensively is concerned. So keep it right here, Helmets and Heels, 10 to XL, 92.5 FM.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Fought for you by Green Law Group on 1010XL.
Let's get this crowd going now. Come on, get him up, get him up, get him up. Come on, come on. Come on. Crowd on its feet. This is what we live for right here.
1010XL.
This is what you live for. Let's go.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here. If you're looking for the best selection of trucks in Jacksonville, it's truck time at Big Number 1 Duval Ford. They've got Jacksonville's largest lineup of brand new trucks with massive discounts. Over $10,000 off select models. That's right, savings you won't find anywhere else. Your next truck is waiting for you at Big Number 1 Duval Ford, so visit DuvalFord.com or stop by 1616 Cassett Avenue today. It's truck time at Duval Ford.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday is
Litigated by Morgan & Morgan.
Frank Frangie here from my bank, South State Bank. South State has been committed to delivering world-class customer service that businesses like yours and mine can count on. From personalized support to cutting-edge banking solutions, South State Bank has blended the trusted traditions we all value with the innovation you need for tomorrow. Whether you're managing cash flow or investing in growth, South State Bank is here to help you move forward. Visit southstatebank.com or visit your local branch today. That's South State, member FDIC.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller. I'm starting to realize being a homeowner isn't all upside, Jason.
I mean, it does give you a place to live.
Yeah, but now suddenly I need to know the names of all the people I need to look after my house.
Like who?
Like if my air conditioner breaks in the middle of the heat wave, I need to know who I call to fix it.
That's me. You know me.
But what if my water heater dies or my toilet backs up?
That would also be me. Bueller Air and Plumbing.
Okay, fine, but what about my duct cleaning and my water filtration and my sewer drain? Where am I going to find all those guys if something goes wrong? I'm just a guy with a house and a dream and...
This pair of sunglasses.
Whoa.
Bueller Air and Plumbing is the only name you need to know. Our club members even get 2 free visits a year, so you know we're there when you need us.
Well, that's cool.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Since 1927, Jacksonville has trusted Coil Fencing to protect what matters. And I trust them too. From tough chain link to your commercial project to sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love, Coil does it all. Did you know that Coil can also install, service, and maintain those automatic gates that help protect your neighborhood or business? To schedule a complimentary consultation, visit CoilJacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com. Coil Fencing, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Throw your rifle and rod in the truck every Saturday morning.
This could be really special.
Go hunting and fishing with Jeff Lageman, Captain Kevin Favor, and Captain Kirk Walls on the Nimnit Outdoors Show, Saturday mornings from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple of years ago. Went smooth as silk, was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Our son Eric's a Division I collegiate baseball pitcher who is having shoulder pain. We took him to Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and are confident that he's now on the road to recovery. This is Beth Anderson, and we love the care Eric receives at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Hip, hip.
All right, let's finish this conversation when it comes to the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Seattle Seahawks defense. We've talked a lot about the defensive front, and certainly Seattle had more consistent pressure and overall sacks from their group of guys than the Jaguars did this season. Well, what about linebackers? Who is the better linebackers, Jags or Seattle?
I think it's pretty close. I mean, the stats that I was going off of were sacks, TFLs, throwing some passes, defense, interceptions if they're there. Ernest Jones, I mean, him and Foye kind of, even each other out. Ernest Jones had 5 interceptions himself, not many sacks. Same with Foye, but had 11. Foye had 11 passes defense. Ernest Jones had 7. A lot more interceptions. Drake Thomas had a really good year, man. He had 3.5 sacks, 10 TFLs, 8 passes defense, and an interception. You could probably cross out him and Lloyd, although I think Lloyd, I've said it before, I think he could be utilized even more.
And he may not be back.
Who's a outside backer, too. He had 7 sacks.
Yeah.
So, I like Gardeck, too. He'll be back. I like that. But I would take Seattle's linebackers for that one-on-one over our guys right now.
Yeah, when I was looking at it, like I said, PFF, so take it with a grain of salt because they calculate, all of the run defense. So they give you a total defense grade, and then I broke it down between total defense and run defense. But that total defense is calculating so many different things. It's going to put coverage in there. It's going to put tackles in there. So if you have missed tackles and things like that, puts all of those categories. But the best on both of these teams in total defense and run defense's grades is Devin Lloyd. He had an 88.4 and an 86.4 run defensive grade, and that's the highest by a good margin, honestly. Behind him for total defense was Foye Oluokun with the 74. Then it was Drake Thomas with the 72, Ventrell with the 72, and Ernest Jones actually had a 61. His missed tackle rate was kind of high. Everything else was pretty good, but that missed tackle brought down his total defense. And like I said, sometimes this is skewed because you have 3 really bad games, and all of a sudden that average is very skewed. And if you're playing injured, those things start to factor in some of these grades. Run defense wide, Devin Lloyd was the best, like I said, 86.4 there. Ventrell, second best out of this group with a 72.6. Drake Thomas with a 72.9. Ernest Jones, 76. And Foye was the worst against the run at 73.5, at least according to this PFF grade.
Seems crazy because he is great against the run.
And this isn't bad. A 73.5 isn't bad. These are all, if you were to compare this to linebackers, all of these guys pretty much, if you're in the 70s and above in these ratings, you're probably sitting in the top half, the top portion of those linebackers. So
interesting about Ventrell.
Yeah, Ventrell's very high on both of these, especially in that run defense.
He didn't seem to play a lot, though. He felt like
no, but that's a testament to the guys that were ahead of him, obviously.
Look, they kind of wash each other out, I guess. I know what you're saying on those
Yeah.
percentages,
That's it.
but
Technically,
even the
with
eye
this,
test tells you they're pretty close to it.
yeah, the total for this has the Jags slightly better. The Jags total defense is had a 78.5 rating, and Seattle's was a 67.2, and then the run defense Jags had a 78.2, and Seattle had a 74.7. So Jags, and I also had 3 linebackers calculated in this because I threw Ventrell in because he actually had a decent amount of snaps calculated in these, and they didn't have another linebacker close to that world of kind of keeping the actual snaps. Snap count in there. So you kind of lean towards the Jags linebackers in this, and a lot of thanks to Devin Lloyd, because he skewed this a lot, having that high 88 and the next closest being 74 in any category.
Well, yeah. I mean,
The
based
picks
on
help with
those,
that.
based on that, you could
That's what I'm
definitely
saying.
make
This
an
is just the
argument for that.
PFF, so
Right.
this is, you take it for a grain of salt. There's certain things that are going to help this a lot. The interceptions are going to greatly skew this for these linebackers, because all of a sudden he had a really good tackle rate. Devin Lloyd did. He didn't miss a lot of tackles at all, at least according to them. So those are the things that highly shift you, especially in the linebacker rating and that category.
I think we'd all say, when you look at the defense in totality, the Jaguars linebackers would be the best position group of
the
those
defense.
defensive
Yeah.
players. It would be linebackers 1, probably defensive line 2, and then secondary 3 is probably how I would go.
Depends if Travis comes back or not. That's a
And
big,
Travis Hunter obviously can can
'cause
skew
they've
this.
got a good handful of DBs. We've got some DBs that can match up, I think. Like I said, I think even Yuri and Antonio Johnson are good one-on-one. I don't know their stats, on the PFF, but as far as production, interceptions, tackles, being around the ball, I think they would be a good one-on-one. Witherspoon, he's the best corner out there. Maybe Travis can become the best, but right now you can't say that. But I would say Witherspoon's probably the best corner out there.
Their safeties are better than
Their
the
safeties
Jags
are
safeties.
very
That's why I put the secondary probably
Yeah.
third.
And that's the biggest, and I mentioned this earlier, and I was talking about that interior. The biggest discrepancy between the two defenses that I noticed when looking at these numbers was the interior defensive line, and I mentioned that earlier. Their interior just did everything at a higher rate than the Jags. Even the run defense, or the Jags' run defense was good. Seattle did it even better. So when you have that good run defense and you're getting pressures and you're getting sacks and you're doing everything, it just is better. The safety room is the other thing. I will say Antonio Johnson had the highest grade of any safety, but the drop off between him and the next, which was Eric Murray, is drastic. And they had all of their guys, which were in mid to high 70 grades. And that's including obviously Julian Love, Imanwari, Okada, and Kobe Bryant all had higher than 70 grades. Antonio Johnson had an 86.9, but Eric Murray had a 62. So it was a drastic change between those safeties, and then Wingard was a 57. Wingard was really good against the run, but not really good at anything else. Everything else was kind of low in that category. Again, this is PFF going by how they grade, so it is a little bit different. But that was the other biggest discrepancy that I noticed is the Jags had Antonio Johnson that played at a really high level all year. The rest of the safeties on the Jags just couldn't compare to what they had depth-wise in Seattle at all in the safety room.
And Caleb Ransaw is a question mark. You hope he comes back and it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
We'll have to see that. But
And
they're
safeties as rookies can play really well. Obviously, he'll be in his second year, but it'll be like he's a rookie.
Yeah, Xavier Watson.
Exactly.
Listen, I could easily roll with Jarian. Travis, if he's healthy, no doubt, is our corners. You get Jordan Lewis back, right? You could roll with him for at least another year.
Yeah. I want Buster back.
I want Buster back too. I'd like to see Buster back, and then you figure out the safeties. Do you upgrade Murray? Do you upgrade Wingard? I think you can in that regard, but they're also good pieces of Campanelli's
Yeah, I think
defense.
they really like Eric Murray, and obviously they love Jordan Lewis. So I think they'll both be a big part of the
Murray's
defense
just
next
a
year.
12, 13-year vet now. He's got injury.
I think you've got to figure out. You got to do something
careful with that.
safety.
Yeah, and I'm not saying necessarily Eric Murray's going to be your starting safety.
Yeah.
But I think he's definitely on the roster as it
Yeah, they
survives.
just paid him last year, so I
Correct.
think. But my hope is that they bring someone to at least compete for that starting spot because it just wasn't good enough.
Well, to me, I'm the only one I'm locking in is Antonio.
Yeah.
He's my starter. I don't know, free,
Safety-wise.
strong, whatever,
Yeah.
safety-wise. He's my number one guy.
So in theory, Caleb Ransaw, Antonio Johnson.
Maybe
if Caleb's healthy, obviously, you'd be, I think, thrilled about that based off of their youth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And athleticism.
And speed, athleticism.
Speed. That's one thing about Seattle. I think overall team, and we're a fast team. We're not a slow team by any means, but you can see they really run to the ball pretty well.
There are some good safeties when you look at, obviously, Kobe Bryant's one of the guys that'll be a free agent, and then, or depending what the teams obviously do with them. But as of this moment, Kobe Bryant, also Nick Cross. I really like Nick Cross, and I think he fits well. He was used in blitzing a lot. He gets picks. Like he's good against the run. He does everything good in the sense of that safety position. I don't know how much you'd have to pay him and how much they're willing to pay him, but it is a pretty good free agency if you need a safety to come in and battle for that spot, which I think they do.
Yeah, that's the thing about like I would look at like a guy like Cameron Curl from the Rams.
Yeah, I like Curl too.
But are they gonna? You just never know. It's funny with free agents. You're like, yeah, I want them, like,
and then they get a contract. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Or you can't afford them, or we're keeping them, or whatever. We're gonna tag them, or whatever we got to do to.
But at least so for years, everyone said if you spend big in free agency, you're probably not a contender, right? Like you're one of those teams, you have a lot of cap space and you're trying to get better quickly. And so, you're probably not a great team. But we just saw these two teams spend the top 5. And again, when you have to spend on a quarterback as a free agent, it does skew things. But the Patriots were the biggest spender, and that's not a terrible team, obviously.
Yeah.
They may have looked terrible offensively on Sunday, but overall, so if the Jags do spend a little bit in free agency, obviously they can't spend as much as previous years, but I don't anymore think like, oh, well, if you're spending in free agency, that means you're not going to make the postseason this year.
Yeah, you've got to get obviously the right guys and the right fit, because I mean, looking at it like a Milton Williams, for example, that was a slam dunk, but people wouldn't have guessed that this time last year. They wouldn't have been like, oh, the Patriots just got Milton Williams, that's going to get them to the Super Bowl, and he was one of those pieces in the machine that really got them there, and was like, everybody we talked to was talking about how important he was to that defense and the stretch that they didn't have him, how much it was affected. And so sometimes it's hard to predict, and that's the crazy thing about free agency, because you do kind of have to overspend. It's usually you're overspending for some of these free agents. Most of the time it's probably someone a little bit older, or someone who's had some injuries, or the other circumstances the team doesn't have the money to keep them, or they're just not a very good player. So there's a few ways that you go with it with free agency, but you have to get the right guys too with the right fit, and that's where I think the more difficult part has come, because I do feel like when you look at other one. I mean, we talked about Ogba. Like you get him and you're like, oh, as a rotational piece, he can get 6 sacks. Like so here with Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines Allen and Eric Armstead on the inside and all of these things, he's going to be able to do that, and it just didn't pan out that way.
De'Ami Brown.
It's De'Ami Brown's another one. It's a guessing game a little bit when
That's
it comes to.
That's why you do 1-year deals, so you're not stuck for.
And we're seeing a lot more of those.
Yeah, but on the other hand, like Jordan Lewis was a guy I guess the Cowboys couldn't afford anymore, and he was terrific.
I want that John Franklin Myers out
That's
of
the
Denver,
one I want
man.
too.
If we could pull that off, I know he costs a lot, but get him on the inside to help out, that would.
And he plays everywhere also when you talk about versatility.
Yeah, he does. He moves around.
Which also costs more.
Yeah.
And if you can't just say
But
you're
it's
a
okay.
defensive tackle, but for sure.
Well, you got decisions to make there, right? I mean, if you keep Trayvon for long term, you got to pay him. You got to pay him big money.
Yeah.
You've got a lot invested in Josh Hines Allen. You got a lot invested in Eric Armstead. He's at $18 million a year. Josh is whatever he's at.
20-something.
Right. And then you're gonna have to pay Trayvon. So who else? Can you go get somebody else, big free agent, and give him that kind of money?
And think about how much you've invested pick-wise in that defensive front as well.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You drafted Trayvon number 1 overall, and Josh Hines Allen was 7th, I want to say,
7th,
in 2019.
Yeah.
All right, so the Super Bowl 61 logo was unveiled, and it is orange and teal. And a lot of people believe, if you look at the logo of the last few years, that there's a correlation between the teams that are in the Super Bowl and the logo's colors. So people are guessing we could have either Jaguars, Bears, or Broncos, Seahawks. Taylor Dahl, obviously, I'll start with you. If we had a Jaguars, Bears Super Bowl.
Hate it. I've said I would hate it. I just feel like I wouldn't be able to actually enjoy it fully if both those teams were in there, because it would just be work, but I love both teams, and for different reasons I love both teams. So it just wouldn't be fun for me. And people here would hate me the whole week, and then people on the Bears side would hate me for the whole week, and it would just be not fun. Even when we play in the regular season, it's miserable for me, because people here are so mean during that week, and I'm just I'm sorry. I grew up this way. This is what my parents like. And then the Bears side are also just trashing the Jag side. So it's this weird war that I don't want to be in.
I'm going for the party. That's I think it'd be a great party. Friends from Chicago, friends from Jayville. coming together. But yeah, that would be that'd be quite the show. No
Especially
doubt
because
about
you've got the storyline of Liam Cohen, his second year, Ben Johnson,
Press
his
Taylor.
second year. Yeah, Press Taylor's
Yeah, Press and Shane. Shane's here.
Yeah,
Press is
Shane's
there.
here, right.
Caleb Williams versus Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool storylines if that's the matchup that we ended up with. If it's Broncos Seahawks, I don't think that has nearly as much sizzle to me.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it could also flop those, and it could be
Sure.
Jags Seahawks and Bears Broncos or
Yep.
something like that. Also, you could flop them in that sense, which I think any of those, like if you have that, it would be a Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, who were drafted the same year potentially. So there's a lot of storylines if you mix match all of these of what it could look like. And I mean, Jags Seahawks, when you talk about, we're just analyzing their defense to the core right now. So hopefully by next year, we're talking about both defenses being like that. But just going over, because for the people who don't know, the logos that people are saying are fitting. So it goes back to the Bengals and Rams. And that year, it was like an orangey color. And then the bottom was like a bright yellow. And so it was like the yellow for the Rams and then the orange for the Bengals. And then the following year is KC and Philly. And it had like that Philly green in the skyline. And then all the buildings were like the Kansas City red. The following year was a kind of funny one because it was purple and like a maroon color. So the maroon was San Fran and the purple they said was Taylor Swift, because that was when that whole Taylor and Kelsey thing started happening. And then the next year was
It wasn't the
KC.
Ravens, in other words.
It was not the Ravens. And then the next year it was KC and Philly. And again, it was like it kind of looked like Mardi Gras-ish that year. It was like the red background with kind of like the green swirls in it. And that was that one. And then this last year, I don't totally get this last year because I don't see blue in here at all. It was like a sea, I don't even know how to explain that, like a kind of tealish aqua color in the sky, and then it had like green trees and a bridge. So I mean, like you could really squint and maybe see that it was Seattle and the Patriots, but I don't totally see that one.
Yeah, out of the 4 for next year, take your bias out. You got 2 teams, but who out of the 4? Denver, Seattle, Chicago, and Jacksonville. Who's in the Super Bowl? If you had to pick it right now, not just one team to make it out of the 4.
Yeah.
Who would be in?
I feel like right now you have to say Seattle.
Yeah.
I mean, you just would feel like what you just saw out of them, and that you don't see an end to it. That's the thing. It's not like you feel after this year. I mean, they have to decide about Kenneth Walker. Okay, they have Charbonnet. Who cares? Like, it's just you feel like the few things they have to worry about are very fixable, and it's not going to drastically change. They also won double-digit games the year before too, so it wasn't like even with going from Geno Smith to Sam Darnold, they were still able to win football games. And so it's hard to not pick them right now until some of the other 3 in my eyes get more consistent. Like you want the Jags to do what they did in the second half the full year. You hope the Bears got to improve in the sense of not counting on all those fourth quarters to have to come back, which that's a lot of the defense. They allowed like 34 points defensively, which is one of the worst in the NFL. And then the Broncos, I think they also were a bit of a roller coaster. It felt like Bo Nix in certain moments looked really good, and then other moments Bobo came out, and it was just like, how much can you reel some of those things in? And RJ Harvey, are you relying on him? And so I do think that Seahawks just feel the most complete at this moment.
Yeah, I would say it's really hard to take bias out because this is the team that we know so well, obviously. But one of the teams that's not mentioned would be the Rams. Like I feel like the Rams also have a really good chance to be in the running for it. But yeah, I mean, I could certainly lay out an argument as to how the Jaguars make the Super Bowl next year. As far as the Trevor Lawrence that we saw really take off, if he plays like that all season long, if these defensive improvements come with a defensive tackle, another edge rusher, improving the safety room, and if all the weapons are even better this year, which I know that's a lot of ifs.
I was just saying, what's Seattle's if? Just keeping them together?
I
You know
would
what I
say
mean?
Sam
their if
Darnold
is
is
Sam,
still an if for them based off of the amount of turnovers, the amount of giveaways that he had in the regular season. Obviously, none in the postseason. That's phenomenal. But can
And
you
their division.
replicate that? Yeah, in their division to battle, the Rams, a healthy 49ers team, if they're able to stay healthy. There's all that conspiracy theory about that
the power
nuclear
plant or
power
whatever.
plant.
Yeah.
But yeah, who would you say?
Seattle's got to be number 1,
Sure.
especially if they keep the majority of that team together. I think Broncos, although, you got the ankle issues with Bo now, he could break both of them, because he's built that way, says his coach. No, but if he was healthy all year, if he was healthy throughout the playoffs, would they have had enough to get through? Maybe. I mean, look, Jarrett Stidham was your quarterback against the Pats. It's 10-7. Even with the weather, you'd think Bo would pull something out, to make that that happens.
Jaguars
Those
put up
legs,
34 on the Broncos in Denver,
they
so
did.
I always go back to that game. But I also go back to the Jags
They
Seahawks
also almost
game.
lost to the Raiders and the Cardinals.
Yeah. I mean, look, again, those matter. They matter. There's value in all of them, in the regular season. But I don't always get, because the postseason is just different. Even though you beat somebody, even beat them twice, doesn't mean you're going to beat them a third time. You split, doesn't know. I mean, go to Seattle and L.A., who you just mentioned. I mean, they went toe-to-toe 3 times. You don't. That's, you know what I mean? You don't know. And then you get into the playoffs. So,
And we're not mentioning teams like the Eagles and the Chiefs.
Yeah,
and
maybe
the
back,
Bengals and the
Ravens,
Ravens
yeah,
and
Packers.
the Packers. Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of more of the mix. We're just going off of the colors of that
I think
logo.
the biggest, it's not even an if, but can the offense continue to get better? Because now it's going to be different. The schedule will be different.
Yeah.
Although our schedule is fine, but it'll be different. They'll have all that time on film to study. Did they figure us out? I mean, look, you can say what you want about year 2 with Doug, but everyone thought after year 1 with Doug, holy cow, look at us, look where we're going. And then they kind of figured you out. And then you had nothing for them. You had no. I think we'll have something for them.
Yeah.
I think we'll have a counter that we didn't have.
Trevor
and
has
hopefully we
an
stay healthy.
off season with Jacoby Myers, and now this.
Which that was figured out a little at the end.
Yeah, but this coaching staff now knows what to do with Brian Thomas Jr. and
Mm-hmm.
Parker Washington. I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate as far as, and I think Liam Cohen, from everything everyone around the NFL says, is always like a step ahead of the game. But yeah, I mean, those are all questions that if we get to September of this year and the Jaguars have already lost 2 games, trust me, that's going to be a big part of the conversation, obviously depending on how the games look.
Yeah, and we've learned for history, you got to wait a little bit to not get too excited.
Don't hit the panic button right
or
away.
the other way. Get off to a good start, and we
Also
fumble
true.
it away, So hopefully, they just stay consistent with their prep, and I think they will. Like you look at Seattle, I feel like with Mike McDonald, they won't get a big hit. He'll keep them humble. He'll keep them hungry. I feel the same about Liam. I think Liam's going to keep, and with Tony in the building, I think they'll keep these guys humble and hungry.
Because Tony's aware of what you're talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah.
2017 and 2022 and unsustained success.
Yeah.
He's well aware.
Go back to 07.
Mm-hmm.
We had a great year in 07. Remember, all we needed was Derek Harvey to take us over the edge, and it didn't happen.
Nope.
We went down the tubes in 2008. So it is hard to replicate.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that, back to back to back.
And the economy did as well.
Yeah,
All right, more to do on the other side, including the golden moment. Don't go anywhere. Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels.
From the Greenlaw Group Studios.
He's in a shotgun now.
Follow every play, interview, and press conference
When we're balanced, it's hard for the defenses to adjust.
on the home of the Jaguars, 1010XL.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it work. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
Hey, life can get a little hectic at times, and no one's got time to get hurt. Lost wages, injuries that not only hurt, but ones that hinder our success. If you're in this position due to the negligence of another, you deserve to be paid. What's up, Jacksonville? Tom McManus here. I know injuries suck, and if you get injured, check out Morgan & Morgan, the largest personal injury law firm in the country. 100 offices, over 1,000 lawyers with enough firepower to handle any and all personal injury claims that you may be dealing with. They make filing a claim easy and don't get paid unless you do. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Visit forthepeople.com or hit pound law from your cell. Pound law, that's all.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Hi, Jacksonville. This is Dr. George Bari, an orthopedic surgeon who is fellowship trained in sports medicine by the Dr. James Andrews. Wintertime is upon us, and you may notice you wake up in the morning with some aches and pains in the shoulders and knees. If this happens to you, don't forget, stay mobile to try to reduce stiffness in your joints. And if that doesn't work, come see me at Bari Orthopedics, where we can treat you with cortisone injections and platelet-rich plasma injections and other non-invasive needs. Visit me at bariorthopedics.com.
It's a Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Backed by Morgan & Morgan. For the people. Dial pound law. Be the first to discover the best new home community in beautiful Green Cove Springs. Highland Trail, where the rhythm of life slows down. Enjoy green spaces, luxury pools, pickleball courts, winding trails, and more at livehighlandtrail.com. Choose from 3 premium builders, just starting in the 300s.
Oh, at Highland Trail.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, celebrating our 49th annual Valentine's Day sale. Come see our hand-picked inventory of thousands of pieces of fine jewelry, diamonds, and gemstones. This Valentine's Day, we have big discounts with jewelry for any budget. And with interest-free financing, you'll get the jewelry you love with a monthly payment you can afford. Monahans will also give you cash for your unwanted gold or silver, or trade it in for new jewelry and get greater value. Monahan Jewelers Valentine's Day sale with big savings in our entire inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Anytime you've got major plumbing problems, and even the minor ones, there's several potential causes, and they usually can't be easily detected. So don't guess at a solution. Hire Roland Reese Plumbing at plumbingjacksonville.com.
I'm Carl. I'm 68 years old, and I lost 40 pounds thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss. And looking at pictures, I realized that my color wasn't good. I looked bloated, constantly tired, out of breath. It got to the point where I decided it was time to pick up the phone and call Awaken 180. The combination of the diet and the coaching really pushed me over the top. My self-confidence soared. I'm walking, I'm working out. Instead of 68, I feel like I'm 28. I just had my annual physical, and my doctor looked at my blood pressure and he said, "What did you do? What happened?" And I explained that I'm on the Awaken 180 program. I've never felt so good in my life. And as somebody that sometimes likes to take the shortcut, I didn't have to do that with this program. Awaken 180 is my solution for weight loss.
Carl's solution for weight loss. My daughter Amber's solution for weight loss. Lowered blood pressure, increased confidence, feeling years younger. Not a temporary fix, a solution. Want the same results? Then choose Awaken 180 online at awaken180weightloss.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the Monahans' golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
So we were chatting today about a clip that was Julian Love after the Super Bowl, talking about how Seattle built their defense, how they were able to still stop the run and the amount of dime they were in, and all of the intricacies of that Mike McDonald defense, and how close the Jaguars are to that when it comes to personnel. You obviously have to execute it, the coaching and the scheme and all of that comes in, but when you talk about personnel and comparing the two, so that's kind of what we've been doing today, and it kind of feels like when it comes to the pressures and sacks, you're not quite there. You have it in a Josh Hines-Allen. He's very comparable to what they were able to do on the edges, at least with DeMarcus Lawrence and Derek Hall. But that interior, what kind of feels like it's lacking. You want to be able to improve that. The linebackers for the Jags in Seattle are very comparable, at least through statistical numbers.
At least through 2025 when Devin Lloyd was on the team.
Yes, yeah.
Not
with Devin
sure
Lloyd,
about that
he was
moving forward.
Definitely the star when it comes to that. The corner room also, we didn't even go through that on the last one, but they're pretty close also when it comes to those. Witherspoon, by far the best corner. He was rated at a 90.1. The closest next to that is Jarian Jones at a 74.7. But the Jags have Jarian, Buster, and Jordan, who are all 1, 2, 3 right after Witherspoon. And beyond that, they have a pretty big gap between Witherspoon and Tariq Woolen, who is their next highest raters, and he's rated and he's in his 50s.
He did no taunting on Sunday. Well done.
Yeah. And then that safety room is, we mentioned, another one that you would hope that they upgrade here in Jacksonville, because that has a pretty big discrepancy. And then I was looking, because we were just chatting a second ago about the free agents and how close of which of those teams, of those 4 color-coded teams for the Super Bowl new logo, of who could be there. And we all said, feels like Seattle, just because Seattle just won and they feel like the most complete. They have a lot of things they've got to figure out this free agency too. Mafe Kenneth Walker, Rashid Shaheed, Kobe Bryant, Josh Jones, Tariq Woolen, Derek Young, Drake Thomas, Jake Bobo. There's a long list of guys that they're having to also figure out this year when it comes to that. It seems like their general manager has been absolutely fantastic. So if I was a Seattle Seahawks fan, I'd be very confident that he's going to be able to
Yeah,
at
he's
least
built 2 Super Bowl rosters.
Yeah, that
Super Bowl winning rosters.
He'll figure it out. I would have the confidence.
Well, I think the thing is there too. He's going to have the challenge. Like now, everyone's going to want to get paid. Like, hey, I'm a Super Bowl champ.
Yeah.
Hey, I had 2 sacks in the Super Bowl. Hey, I had a great postseason run, or I had a great year. Like, I want to get paid, and he's going to have to make that decision. And that was the big if. Can you keep it all together? That's the biggest thing I think for a lot of teams when you win the Super Bowl, because you do invest a lot. You do have a lot of your guys that have been around. You've been grooming, and they're getting near the end of their, maybe first contract, or maybe extend them, or maybe you're thinking about it, that type of thing. So
$73 million though in cap space for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Seahawks. So they at least have
spending
right. They
that's
at least have a lot more wiggle room,
and that's without the new $20 million that will be added at the start of the new league year.
which the Jags really need it because right now they're -9 in cap space. But yeah, like we've always said, they'll figure that.
So they'll have
part
about
out.
$90 million. The Seattle Seahawks when the new league year
So
starts.
they're number 1.
So to
calculate that one, they're number 1.
confirm that, 100%. The I feel like the most important thing for people to know, though, is on Thursday we're going to be at Peterbrook.
Yes.
Chocolatier in Ponte Vedra. So if you have a Valentine, even if it's your mama, your grandmama, whatever, a friend, Taylor, buy her some chocolate,
Bring me
come
some
to
chocolate.
Peterbrook. Yeah, we'll be in Ponte Vedra, the Peterbrook Chocolatier in Ponte Vedra. So I feel like for people out there, if you didn't realize it, Valentine's Day is Saturday. So just a reminder, come and see us on Thursday from 2 to 4. And even if you can't come and see us in Ponte Vedra, go to Peterbrook at some point in time.
We'll help you pick out some chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give you advice.
There we
I'm
go.
a chocolate lover over here. Have you ever had their chocolate covered popcorn, Tommy?
yeah.
That's so good.
A million times.
Oh gosh, it's so delicious.
so good.
It's the perfect combination of salty
It
and
is.
sweet.
It really
Do you
is.
say that in one of your commercials?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, over air.
I thought I just came up with that. Dang it.
Oh.
All right, pest of the day on the other side. 1 segment to go. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels, 10 to XL, 92.5 FM.
From the Queen Law Group Studios.
Helmets and Heels.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
To get this thing unwrapped here.
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, Dan. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Stash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Daily Stash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course,
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daily Stash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daily Stash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Hey guys, Taylor Dahl here of Helmets and Heels, just 4 days away from Valentine's Day, but no worries, Peterbrook Chocolatier has your back. With 15 North Florida locations, it's never been easier to celebrate your Valentine with quality ingredients like truffles, hand-dipped strawberries, and my personal favorite, chocolate-covered popcorn and custom gift baskets. Peterbrook makes it look easy to shop this holiday. Pre-order now at your local chocolatier or visit peterbrook.com. That's peterbrook.com.
At Hollis Pools, building a pool is personal. We sit down with you, listen to your vision, and bring your backyard dreams to life right here in Northeast Florida. Working with us doesn't feel like working with a contractor. It feels like working with family. Every Hollis Pools project supports Project Savior Outdoors, helping bring hope to our veterans. Visit hollispools.com. Hollis Pools, your vision, your pool, your escape. License number CPC 1461233.
The month for love is a perfect time to get your home organized. Hey, this is Lauren Brooks, and I love our closets from Closets by Design. They create custom storage systems designed around how you actually live. From closets and garages to entertainment centers, laundry rooms, and storage for any space and budget. With their brand new showroom open, they have extended the offer of 40% off plus an extra 15% off, free installation, and 18-month special financing. We were just at that new showroom last week. I can tell you, you want to go by. Schedule a free consultation by calling 904-878-9393 or find them online, closetsbydesign.com.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday, protected by Morgan & Morgan.
Hicken here. Experience crystal clear vision with the Eye Associates, formerly Bowden Eye Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet Betchkel, MD, Jacksonville's leader in advanced eye care. From routine eye exams to specialized vision care, their experienced team dedicated to improving and preserving your vision. The same care you come to trust, now with a new name. To schedule your appointment today, call the Eye Associates, formerly Bowden Eye Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet A. Betchkel, MD, at 296-0098.
San Jose Collision in Mandarin is proud to be an iCar Gold Class collision repair facility. That means they meet the industry's highest training standards. Experience the difference at San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Do you want to grow your career with a company that's committed to growing with you? Florida Home AC has aggressive plans to double their workforce, and they're looking for determined, resourceful people with initiative. Just log on to FloridaHomeAC.com/careers to find out more.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, company mascot at your service.
There are 2 important steps to installing the perfect garage floor. The 2-stage coating application, sure, but nothing is more important than preparing the floor. Our team uses diamond grinding machines to grind your floors to a smooth, level finish. Only then can we...
Hold on! You grind garage floors with perfectly lovely diamonds?
No, Chester. We grind floors to perfection using the very best ugly diamonds. Too ugly for jewelry, but perfect for the grinding pads we use to prep the surface.
Perfect preparation and application. Now that's a perfect marriage.
Ugly diamonds?
Check. Perfect preparation?
Check. Smooth, gorgeous, gleaming floors that really catch your eye? Checkmate!
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
No reason for RJ to play Toby Keith other than we just love Toby Keith.
I love some Toby Keith.
How can you not? Oh, you didn't?
Not until his voice. I know it's that voice, but yeah. I didn't know the melody.
Love this song.
Me too.
I have a playlist on my Spotify. We were talking about Spotify earlier, and I made like a Toby Keith playlist, but when I made it, I was drunk, and it says Tony Keith still. I just never changed it. It still says Tony Keith in there.
That's amazing.
But now it's kind of like a bit where like I'll put it on, and people
Put
are like, Tony Keith
on. Ella Langley covers one of Toby Keith's songs. The one about like I wish I didn't know now what I didn't know then.
I love that song.
It's really good when she does it too. All right, time now for today's Terminix Pest of the Day. As always, brought to you by our friends at Terminix. You can find them online at Terminix.com. That's TERMINIX.com. They do a fabulous job of taking care of any pest issues at our house, as well as Everbank Stadium, ViStar Ballpark, ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, and all of your favorite event venues around town. By the way, next Friday, first concert of 2026. A little Nico Moon action.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, very excited
I've
to see
seen
him.
He's good.
Yeah, we've seen him before too.
Yeah.
He's coming to the Ponte Vedra Concert Hall. All right, the Pest today, though, the Pistons and the Hornets. This is certainly up in RJ's wheelhouse, but the massive
WWE
brawl.
match.
Seriously, like you can't do that, FYI. And I feel like the Pistons have long been known, as the bad boys of obviously basketball. But they the game last night, in case you missed it, just basically turned into an absolute brawl. And you can't do that.
Yeah. Are the 90s Pistons back? Is that what
I think so.
Bad boys, they were great. They were great until the Bulls got Rodman. Then it all changed.
You
Man.
fight him back.
Yeah. I'm trying to look for the video. I love those kind of things, but I can't see. I guess 4 guys got
What
tossed
started
out.
it, RJ?
Anybody connect? Was there anything like that? It was more choking and pushing.
Diabate and Jalen Duren, just from the video I watched, it seemed they were going back and forth with each other. Diabate hard fouls Duren. Duren takes exception. Slap in the face by Duren to Diabate. Chaos ensues.
Ooh,
I got it on the screen.
But no, I think the beautiful thing about it, if you want to talk about bad boys basketball coming back to Detroit, is the fact that you have Isaiah Stewart, jumping into the fray. Now, by rule, he's going to get suspended. You're not supposed to come off of the bench. If there's a fight on the court, you're not one of the 10 that's originally been on the court.
Right.
But to hear him going in the back and say, you think they drafted me to stay on the bench if something like this happens?
Let's go.
Bad boys basketball in Detroit is certainly coming back.
That's like LeQuint Allen.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
our
Quinn's like,
version.
I'm out there. How do you feel about a slap in the face if someone just smacked you?
I wouldn't let it. I'd smack him back harder.
Well,
More
remember
than
when we were
once,
in Vegas
Yeah, the
and
slap
looking,
fight.
looking
Oh,
at
I
the
don't know.
stadium swim, and they had those, and there's so many different odds and everything that goes
bracing
into
themselves
it.
for a smack.
Remember when Derek was talking about the heavyweights? He's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
they can get up to 450 pounds. He's like, their hands are so big and meaty. Like when they hit, it's like the earth moves. And I just, you like envision that. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And you can't flinch. You can't brace. And you can't switch sides.
Yeah.
Like they whack you on one side, they cut you, they bruise you, whatever. And you
Have to
don't
let it
knock
happen
them
all over
down,
again.
and you got to take another one right on the same side. I mean, that's just totally
Not
brutal,
anything
man.
that
I
I
don't know how
want to
people
do
that.
personally.
No, I'm out on that.
Yeah.
But what an interesting idea. I mean, Derek said it's it's
He said
faster
it's-
growing than MMA.
Yeah, totally,
And it's all,
100% wild.
what's his name? Dana White's idea from the UFC. It was his idea. How
He's
smart is that?
Yeah, smart. All right, let's say hello to the Frangie Show.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnik. Nimnik Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnik Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Hey, Caroline joins us. Tom's actually not allowed to have a microphone when you're here.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I suppose.
That's why
to
we
see
had to
you
take
guys.
it. No, there's apparently a technical issue with that one. Yeah, good to see you as well. We've got Florida at JU softball tonight. Are you so excited?
Wow, how about that? Yeah. Best of luck to both of them. It's a great game.
We went last year, but the game was in March, so it'll be a little chillier for
yeah.
tonight's. But yeah, we were comparing the Jaguars defense to the Seattle Seahawks, and certainly the Seattle defensive front has way more guys that can get to the quarterback than what the Jaguars have. Linebackers are pretty similar, and then certainly their secondary is better than the Jaguars. Basically, we were just trying to see how far away the Jaguars are from the Seahawks.
Yeah, I don't think it's eons. I mean, I think that, that this offseason is going to be devoted to the defensive side of the ball for the Jaguars. So, I mean, I think that with what they're going to pour into it, with what they already have, retaining Campanile, I mean, I don't think it's, preposterous to suggest they couldn't graduate to being, a very good defense next year. Will they be elite like what Seattle is? Probably not, but I could see the gap isn't that huge now. And I definitely think the Jaguars will be able to make investments on that side of the ball that, if they're right, could pay dividends. And, obviously you got the injured guys that didn't really do much last year that could help you, like Ransaw and Travis Hunter. So, yeah, I mean, I think I'm optimistic for what the Jaguar defense can be, and it certainly has a chance to be in that top 4 or 5 mix if they have a big time off season.
Let me guess, y'all are going to talk a little bit about Charles Bediako today.
Mr. NBA, that might get mentioned, and we'll talk get some Gators basketball. Florida State has a big game tonight. They host Virginia. It's not a big game so much for like tournament things like that. Florida State is 11-12 overall, but they've been playing better, so a good opportunity for Luke Laux and his squad to show what they can do against a team like Virginia. And college basketball is really heating up. That Kansas-Arizona game last night was fantastic. Tonight you got Purdue-Nebraska, which is a really good game in the Big Ten. So, lots to discuss, and we'll certainly talk some, Jaguars and NFL as well. So should be a fun Frangie show coming up. We'll also have a scholar athlete.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you.
Hayes. Yeah, that college basketball. Ugh.
I just watched that whole video. Holy cow. They couldn't get it stopped.
Right.
Those are a lot. That's big men. You don't want to be in the way of big men fighting like that. They're too big. But that thing went on
I'll
for
be like,
a
you
while.
guys sort this out.
Yeah. Go in the back. Like go in the behind the walls or something.
Malice at the Palace kind of reminds you of that.
That was fun. Now that was
fun. Only spoken by Tom. All right, that'll do it for us today. For Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you tomorrow, but don't go anywhere. The Frangie Show comes up next, so keep it right here. 1010 XL 92.5 FM.
All over you. Yeah. You keep lying when you ought to be truthing. And you